Hello, everybody. I'm Raven Karasu, and today I have a few things I want to talk about. First off, I cut my finger. I got a boo-boo. Kiss my boo-boo. I got boo-boo. I got one of those vegetable peelers. It has the crank on it, and it has like little shears on it and stuff. So I got one of those, and those things are sharper than they look. I had no problem actually using it, but I went to wash the slicer that I actually used, the ribbon slicer, and just a little tap, and that thing sliced my finger right open. Didn't like that too much. Oh, excuse me. Chris bought a new beer today, and he wanted to try. Unfortunately, his medicine is, at least we think it's his medicine, is screwing up his taste buds, so he can't taste any fizzy drinks. So soda and beer, and he can't taste it, and he's getting agitated about that. So, but I liked it, so it was actually pretty good. It was let's see, what is this? Bavarian Dunkel. We just saw this in the store, and he's just like, oh, I want to try that. So it's not bad. It tastes. It's not real light, but it's not real heavy either. It's kind of just right, and it's got kind of a citrusy taste to it on the but I only taste it like on the sides of my mouth. It's like just a slight taste, and I can't quite place what it is. I kind of want to say orange, but I don't know. It does say fruit juices, but I don't know. And I don't care. Also, we're all kind of having our seasonal issues. I've been taking allergy medicines off and on all winter, actually, because my eyes been itching, my ears been itching, the inside of my throat's been itching, and it's just been a pain in the ass. Chris, he's now, with the weather getting warmer and spring coming up, he's starting to get sinus issues, and or we can't find any sinus medicine. I don't know if I have any left, and I had to get some of that. And then poor Mirage, he's getting issues with his eye. His eye is all yucky. I'm not too worried because it kind of happens. It does happen. It never happens to Shuri, but Britzy gets it every now and again, and Mirage tends to get it every so often. It's a different eye this time for him, but normally, one of them or both of them, like I said, Shuri never has this issue, will start having eye issues, and the eyes will start watering and, some discharge and stuff. And what I've been doing is taking cold wet compresses. I'm going to have to actually get a washcloth to do that. And I clean out their eyes constantly. I clean out their eyes several times a day, and I put some cold wet compress on there. And usually within, a week or so, it's better. If I don't do it, it tends to get worse. So I try to take care of it before I go to the vet, because if I can fix it, using just natural methods, no point paying for, wasting the vet's time. But it normally works. It normally is just, keep the eye clean and just kind of keep it washed out and stuff. And that usually works fine. The swelling goes down and it's all cleaned up. And they're not really bad. Like his eye's not popping out or anything. It's just, his eyes are watery. And we think it's also allergies. Britzy's fine. So she's still good. Like I said, Shuri almost never gets sick. But Mirage is he's kind of having a little bit of sounds like he has issues in his throat too, which is the way I hear him kind of, so we think he has allergies. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on him. He should be fine though. Once everything gets settled, it should be fine. The girls are fine. What I mean by the girls is Rarity and Voodoo, which are my leopard geckos. They're fine. They ate fine today. Voodoo finally did her shed. It was actually really easy for her. I expected it to be a whole lot more of a pain in the ass, but no problem. Now, Merlin shed finally. She scared the hell out of me because she actually shed yesterday, but I didn't see her face. I just saw the back of her and saw some skin on her tail. I'm like, okay, well, she shed. She was looking out at us today when I went to feed her, and oh my God, I thought she had suffocated on her skin. Her face was just this big mesh of dry skin. So I pulled her out. She was fine. She looked a whole lot worse than she was. So we cleaned off her face and all that. Oh, I seem to have still cut myself again. I cut myself somewhere else. Got another little boo-boo. No blood this time. So yeah, we helped her. She still has some shed still left on her, mostly on her digits, and I had to be aware of that. She did end up losing a claw earlier on because we couldn't get it off, and we didn't realize it was still on there. So she did lose like a claw. Her digit's fine. She just lost the claw. So tomorrow we will be giving her a small rinse, small bath, so that we can try and work on the digits. Voodoo's fine. Her skin came off just fine. Hers was still a little more moist because it was newer. Like I said, Merlin shed yesterday, so it was dry by today. Rarity's already shed, so she's good to go. And Gandalf had already shed, so he was good to go. Apparently, the girls had seen what I had done. I had Gandalf down here at some point, and Gandalf just loves kisses. Just loves kisses. Lots and lots of kisses. And I usually make kissy noises at all of them, and I give them little kisses, like I give them little kisses and they can kiss my nose and stuff like that. But apparently, Voodoo and Rarity got jealous. I had Rarity come out so I could feed Voodoo. Voodoo always gets fed first because she's the smallest. So I want her to be able to catch her food without having to worry about, and normally it's not usually a huge issue. It's more for my peace of mind because normally they're fine. I like to feed them individually so I know specifically who ate what. Yeah, I had Rarity, and Rarity didn't want the kissy noises anymore. She wanted me to give her all the kisses that I gave to Gandalf, so she's now addicted to all the kisses. And Voodoo was kind of injured, but like I said, she was more like, just in need of, she wanted hugs and snuggles and comfort and all that stuff. The last few days, I had to say it'd probably be like the last week, and it's weird because we got Gandalf, and we knew he was eating when we got him. Because he was by himself, and I had Merlin down here. And then we noticed that after we put Merlin in the tank, he wasn't really eating. I think he ate like once since putting her in there. And we weren't sure why. So I sat and I watched them. And I thought, okay, well maybe Merlin's pushing him around and she's grabbing the food before he does. And, sometimes, yeah. But even when I give the food directly to him, I put it right in front of him and I keep them separated like that, and he didn't want it. No interest. In fact, he'd point it out and he'd wait for Merlin to come get it. He was constantly looking for food for her. Weird, huh? Yeah, he was going around, he'd stare at the food, she'd show up, and he'd point it out and she'd eat it. So it's like he would not eat as long as she was in the tank because he wanted to feed her. That's what it looked like to me. Because, that's what he wanted. He wanted her to eat, and he's trying so hard to be a good little boyfriend. He's so sweet. So I thought about that. I'm like, it's been several days, and, yesterday he didn't even get a chance because, Marilyn was so hungry, she gobbled up everything. I'm like, maybe we'll have to do what I do with my girls and just kind of feed them separately. So, and like I said, because Voodoo's smaller, I let her eat first, so she has, she can actually pick one out. I see her eat it. But with Merlin and Gandalf, it was the opposite. We took Merlin out so that he had nobody to find the food for. We wanted him to be by himself in there for this particular mealtime. And I stubbornly sat there, and I took 2 worms, and they're medium-sized mealworms, and he would watch them and he would hunt them, but then he just kind of watch them squirm away. Lazy lizard. He'd watch him, he'd kind of perk up, he'd get all tense, and then he'd just watch him go away. And me, I was sick of it, so I'm like taking the worms in my tweezers and I'm throwing them into the hide. And he's like, watch him. And again, it's like, I'm not leaving until you eat something, Yeah, you haven't eaten anything in days. And I know that they can last several days, when they get older, but it's like, I want to see you eat something, just eat one, just so I know that you're eating something. And he looks interested in it, but he just wouldn't go after it. And I don't know why. And I'm like, he's like looking cute, looking up at us like with puppy dog eyes. And I'm like, no, we're not picking you up. We're not taking you out. You're not getting any kind of love or affection till you eat something. No. I know. We talk to our pets like they're children. So I spent a good 5 minutes slinging the same 2 worms back in there. Like, I'm not leaving you alone until you eat. And finally, he eats one. I'm like, okay, I'm happy. Just has to eat one. That's all I care about. Just eat one so you eat something. So that's probably going to have to be our new routine. We have to take Merlin out, feed him first, and then she'll eat herself, when she gets back in. We moistened up the coconut husk again, and I think she likes it when we spritz it, because like I said, we put Merlin back in, and then he took out Gandalf, so he can have his love time. And I'm squirting the coconut husk and filling up the water dish, and she, Merlin's just so excited. It's like, what, you like the rain or something like that? So she was having a ball. She's loving the coconut husk. She plays in that all the time. So yeah, everyone's doing good, and like I said, I have been having allergies off and on. Poor Mirage, he has allergies right now. Chris has allergies right now. All the geckos have shed, so we're good. We're doing good with that, and like I said, my boo-boo. But you're probably wondering what my topic is, if you've seen the title, Woman Issues. And I want to say, I'm not really a social justice warrior or, anything like that, or a keyboard warrior or anything like that. I have my views, some more liberal, some more conservative. I'm not a political person, and this isn't really, in a sense, attacking anyone. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm really trying to understand it. Maybe it may be nothing. Maybe it's just because the people who do it tend to talk the most and the loudest. But I thought of it when I was upstairs. I was cleaning up something, and I happened to look at my legs. I haven't shaved my legs in a while. I feel gross. But I started thinking about that. I'm like, I always see these things about how women are giving into the patriarchy if we shave, because that's what the patriarchy wants. But then I see, a woman can decide if she wants to shave or not shave. But then it's like, oh, well, because you did shave, you're giving into the patriarchy. It's like, no, sometimes women just want to shave. It's more comfortable for me to be clean shaven than to have all this monkey hair on me. I don't do it for anyone except me. I feel cleaner when I do it. So I'm wondering, so what? Does that make me anti-feminist? Does that make me pro-patriarchy because I feel cleaner personally? I mean, really, I don't give a shit what a guy thinks. I feel cleaner when I do it. So I'm just wondering, does that make me a horrible woman just because I feel a certain way and I want to do a certain thing for me, and just because it's not what most feminists do, that I'm not pro-woman? I don't get it. I mean, even when I was younger, I never did it for anybody. It's like, it was taught to me, here's how you shave, okay? And I've always done it, and I've always felt cleaner and more comfortable. If anything, I can't stand having hair on my body because it makes me itch. I feel awful when I sweat. I feel filthy. So yeah, I'm kind of feeling really icky right now. So I was just kind of wondering that. Like I said, I'm not saying, ew, you people who don't shave are gross. I don't care, If you want to do that, fine. I'm just wondering, because there's always like, oh, women have a choice to do this or this. But when you do the one thing, it seems you're called out for being, for the patriarchy, because that's what the patriarchy likes. Regardless if it's something that you personally choose for your own reasons. So I don't understand that. And the other thing I was wondering, and this one kind of got me, and I understand what women are saying, but it makes me cringe, but it's not for the reason that women claim. And that's the free bleeding. For those who don't know what that is, it's basically when a woman is on her menstrual cycle, she has her period, and she doesn't use a tampon, she doesn't use a pad, she just lets it flow. And, gets all over everything. And they're like, we shouldn't shame people for periods. We shouldn't shame women for having their periods. It's totally natural. And it is. But at the same time, so is a bloody nose. If I get a bloody nose and I start bleeding everywhere, it's still considered a hazard. It's a biohazard because you have something in you that could transfer something to somebody else. But yeah, if there's blood everywhere, you have to clean it up a certain way because, it's considered unclean, it's dangerous, it's biohazard. And that's kind of what makes me confused about the free bleeding. It's like, I get what you're saying. We shouldn't be ashamed of having our periods. That's what women do. That's how, we know we are in the years when we can have children. That's what that signifies. But at the same time, it's still blood. I mean, if you're in private, I guess it doesn't really, it doesn't matter. But if you're out in public, if you're like at the mall or at the park or something and you sit down and bleed all over everything, that's still a hazard. It's still a health hazard. It's still blood. It's still bodily fluids. You still carry bacteria and stuff in it. So that's something I could never do. I would feel filthy, and not in the sense of shame, but in the sense that it's getting all over everything. It doesn't feel nice. If it feels nice to someone else, great. If you're a woman who's like, yeah, I don't care, it feels good to be free, great. I don't personally feel that way. And again, I'm not anti-woman. I'm not, period shaming. It's just a matter of, I worked in healthcare, and the thought of somebody just smearing blood everywhere they go when they sit down just makes me cringe because that's dirty. The period itself isn't dirty, but the smears you leave behind on seats and stuff, that's dirty. That's considered dirty. It's considered a hazard. Somebody has to clean that up. It's kind of like if you blew snot on it, if your nose bled on it, if you fell over and broke a tooth and your tooth bled on it, you still have it still has to be cleaned up because it is a bodily fluid. Sorry about that. I didn't realize how close to 10 o'clock it was. But yeah, like I understand the point. You don't want people to feel ashamed of it. And like for me, I personally don't feel ashamed of it. It is what it is. But I also don't want to ruin all my clothes by bleeding all over them. And I don't want to walk around with a huge blood stain on my ass. And I don't want to sit on everything and see blood smeared everywhere. I get it, but it's just the actual act of having a period is not dirty. It's natural. But leaving smear stains behind is dirty because you have to clean that up. If you bleed or piss or anything like that on something, it has to be cleaned up before somebody else in the public place can use it. So I'm not quite sure how that works. Is it something that you just do in private? Is it something that you do and you smear everywhere you go? Is it something that you go to the mall and you smear all the benches when you sit down, or try on clothes and bleed all over their shit? Or, I don't know how that works. Is it a private thing? Is it a public thing? Is there some sort of regard for, the health of others? And like I said, and I still want to clarify, having a period is healthy. But the bodily fluids you leave behind, when you're not protecting your clothes, that's a mess. So not everyone should have to deal with another person's mess. I shouldn't have to deal with sitting on a bench that's smeared with baby shit. Someone's responsible for cleaning up the baby shit because that's dirty. If I have a bloody nose, someone's responsible for cleaning up that blood because it's a mess. And, other people don't want to sit in shit, piss, and blood. So I kind of see it as, some people say it's cleaner. Well, it's still blood. It's still a bodily fluid that can transfer, things. And I'm not sure how that works. So like I said, I'm not attacking anybody for it. If that's what you like, if that's what you're into, fine. I just wonder, in the sense of public places, is there regard for keeping your bodily fluids to yourself? I don't want to be covered in somebody else's spit and somebody else's shit and somebody else's piss and somebody else's blood. I don't want to do that. And I'm sure I don't want my family members to do that. So I don't know, is there a middle ground? Is there like, oh, we do it in certain places but not others? Or, oh yeah, we keep certain things in regard. Or, oh yeah, we do this to make sure. Or, oh yeah, we clean up after ourselves to make sure, nothing's spreading or, anything like that. I'm curious. I mean, I'm all for, periods are natural, and there's no reason to be ashamed of them. But at the same time, leaving a mess behind seems rather, I guess, rude. It's like, because if you're free bleeding, you're doing it. It's not like, oh, well, I had a pad and I leaked, or I had a tampon and I leaked. That's a whoopsie. It happens. But when you're on purpose letting it just go, don't you know you're going to be leaving that mess behind? I mean, do you carry little towelettes around and like, okay, well, I'm going to clean it up when I get up? Or do you just leave it? I mean, because that's gross. I mean, like I said, the actual period is natural, but the mess you leave behind, pretty much on purpose, would be gross. Nobody wants to deal with that. That's your mess. You should clean it up. So is that how it's kind of done? I've never seen any actual rules for it. I'm just curious. I'm not, like I said, I'm not anti-feminist. I'm not anti-woman. I'm not pro-patriarchy. I try to think of things in a logical manner. So I'm just wondering, what's the practicality of making a mess and leaving it? And that's basically it. It's not the period itself. It's the mess. What do you do with the mess? Because if it's your mess, I don't want to sit in it and I don't want to clean it up. I don't get it. So, and don't be nasty when you answer me either. I mean, I seriously want to know, what is the protocol for this, so that, yeah, you're still making a statement, but you're not forcing it on everyone else by making them have to deal with your bodily fluids on seats and benches and whatever. I mean, there has to be a level of, respect for public spaces, so you don't leave them in a crappier state than when you appeared. And that's pretty much what I'm saying, is my logic and practicality. Do you clean up your mess? Do you do something to prevent a mess? Do you, and that's it. It's like I said, not the period, it's the mess. What do you do about the mess? Do you do it in public? Do you do it just kind of in your own personal circle? Because if it's in public, you need to have that respect for other people to clean up your mess. And I'm sorry I had to get to that for all the guys out there, grow a pair. It happens. If you want to get married and have kids, you need a person with a period. So it happens. So yeah, I mean, it's like, you don't have to be ashamed that you have one if you're a woman. And, you know, like I said, if a guy's like, oh, I don't want to hear about that, well, you know, where do you think the ability to reproduce comes from? You know, so I understand, you know, you don't want to be like, let the patriarchy win and, you know, keep it shush shush. You don't have to keep it shush shush, but I don't want to have it slish slosh, you know? So, you know, give me some kind of protocol on what the heck y'all are doing. Or, you know, is it that this is just, you know, oh, the Tumblr feminists, you know, they're crazy, or the feminazis, they're crazy, you know? I don't know. I don't know how this works. Not that I want to do it. Like I said, I like to feel clean and all together. I like everything to be where it's supposed to be. So yeah, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Like I said, I'm not trying to start no fights, and I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. I just want to know. I mean, isn't that the kind of the thing? Is like, if you don't know, you ask. You know, the whole, oh, you need to educate yourself. Well, I'm trying to educate myself. Tell me, you know, and kind of tell me in a respectful manner, please. I know it's YouTube, but, you know, cut me some slack. So, you know, I'd like to understand. I want to understand. So, you know, if I know, then I know for somebody else who doesn't know. So I can kind of, you know, actually have a thought on it. I can actually, you know, have an opinion. You know, I don't want to have an opinion on something I don't know much of anything about. And basically, all I know about free bleeding is you don't put on a tampon or a pad, you bleed everywhere, you stain everything, and you leave a mess behind. That's all I really know. You know, I don't know anything beyond that. As far as shaving, you know, it's okay, well, a woman has the freedom to shave or not to shave, and it's for her, not for anybody else. But at the same time, if a woman shaves, I've heard, oh, well, they're anti-woman because they want to shave because that's what the patriarchy wants. And no one seems to hear that those who do it because they like it. It's what they prefer. Same with dress, you know, oh, they can dress, you know, really frumpy, or they can dress really scandalous. It doesn't matter. And yet when a woman does dress scandalous, you know, if they're dressing really skimpy, it's, oh, well, she, you know, she's being objectified. So, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of equality and feminism in theory, but I'm not quite seeing it done a lot in practice. So I'm just trying to figure out the logistics and practicality and protocol of what the heck we're supposed to do. I mean, I don't get it. And I'm not trying to be nasty or super conservative about, you know, I don't get it. I just, you know, is there something I don't know? You know, I don't want to hear all these, you know, long feminist rants like, oh, you know, the pay gap and all this. Like, I'm not asking about any of that. I am asking specifically the clothes, the shaving, the free bleeding. That's what I'm doing. I'm asking that. Those are the questions I'm posing. So those are answers I would like. And I'm sure it's going to be all over the place if I get any responses at all. But again, try to keep in mind, I'm not trying to attack anybody's beliefs or anything like that. I just want to know. And the best way to ask is to ask people who practice. So answer, please. I want to know.